Good. Welcome, Cass.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Come take a seat.
Hi,
Welcome.
how are you doing?
I've been.
How's everything going? How's the energy out there?
Wow. Okay. Hello.
I should get you mic'd up very quickly.
I'll get you mic'd up.
It's a quick turnaround in this booth.
I'm thrilled to have Birdeye here because I'm a long time Birdeye user.
Thank you very much.
I use every screener that's important. You know, back in the days it was Dex Tools and Dex Guru and all
Wow.
this. Dex Screener was a big one, but Birdeye for me is the one that is very Solana centric. So
Yeah, that's what we are. I mean, yeah, we have been because we have been building on Solana for about 4 years now.
yeah,
So we follow all the news, all the development, all the new standards and everything, and we try to be the first one who integrated all the new standards like meta plates, all the new token standards and everything. So yeah, hopefully it's helpful to you guys as an users.
yeah, for sure. And what's Breakpoint been like for you guys? What's been Birdeye's big presence here? And what's the message you're here to share?
What's the bird's eye view you're having? I'm waiting
Get him out of here.
So yeah, this is my third breakpoints. The first one was in 2022 when the FTX happened. So it feels like decades ago, right? Like we have only 2-3 years, but then things change completely. So in this breakpoint, we actually just introduced our next flagship product, which is a dashboard for institutions. We are opening for closed beta registration. It's like a few days ago, and we're looking for some big institutions to sign up, and then we're gonna just roll it out in the next quarter. Our view is that Solana has been very fun, and now it's getting a little bit more mature. And we can see that there's a wave of the TradFi guys going into Solana. They're putting millions, and some putting billions of dollars into that one. So probably they're gonna need some kind of tools, some data tools, so that they can do some analytics.
Yeah, like what's different about a Birdeye institutional platform as opposed to the ones that we have access to? Like what can these people expect will give them that extra edge?
Yeah, okay, so imagine it like this right now. If you want to learn about any particular projects or particular assets, probably you have to go to some website, right? Not only Birdeye, but you also need to go to some other place to look for the team managers or who are behind the projects and what is behind that project, what is the legal entities, and how can you benchmark its performance against all the popular portfolio like Rob and everything. So that's what is still lacking. I think most of the retail users will not want to see those information because what's the point if you only invest like few dollars or $100? But then if you are investing in millions of dollars, then those information matters, right? You want to know who is actually behind that one. Is that legal? Is that annual compliant and things like that? And what are the news? What are the on the Solana Floor, what it is talking about. So we want to aggregate all those information in one single dashboard and report like the single platform that visualize the whole crypto world. That's what it is, and we're gonna integrate all the things that probably most of the people, like 95% of people, will never need to take over. But on the remaining one, on the guys who's investing a lot of money, they will value all those.
Your typical user base in that case, or the target audience, let's say, would they be DAT issuers, ETF issuers, DATCos in general? These are the types of clients that you'd look to bring on, or just maybe whales.
Exactly.
Also whales.
Yeah. So we're talking about fund managers, investment bankers, family offices.
Okay.
All the whales, on the project leaders who want to see the competitions at real time. We have a lot of dashboard that compare projects. Like we have all the metrics, how many users you have, how many users that you have historically, and what is the trend going on. And so those are the type of information which is like take a very, very long time to index and to arrange. But then I think we think that it's very helpful.
Definitely. I mean, if I think about my time as a consultant, boring Web2 jobs, these are the types of reports that companies pay huge amounts of money for out in the real world. Let's call it the Web2 companies. They need specific types of data collection, aggregated forms of data for market research. Maybe they want to think about, operating in a different environment. They've got the capital, they've got the expertise, they've got the know-how, but they don't know what the sort of risk parameters are, who they'd be competing against, who they'd be operating with, what kind of partnerships they can find. So this is a very real business model that most companies out there need, and it's interesting that I guess nobody's done it yet.
Yeah.
Why hasn't anyone done it yet?
Well, because it is difficult. Well, we've been working on this one for nearly a year now, and I think we're just touching like the tip of the iceberg. Because firstly, the on-chain data, especially on Solana, is super fast. So you actually have to get the data in real time and then aggregate it and then rearrange it, organize it in real time. That's the challenge. And then you have the off-chain data, right? Like you have the data coming from the central exchange, from the news. You have, like it is everywhere. So it really takes serious time and effort to integrate one by one, and then we can have like hundreds or even thousands of data sources. And then we have to integrate it in one single thing, and we have to organize it very scientifically.
I mean, it must be almost impossible to offer daily, even like hourly reporting because of the sheer volume of data that's generated, right? Would you start then offering, weekly reports, monthly reports, quarterly reports, and then slowly get more and more granular?
Exactly, because now when we take a look at the traditional financial world, we see that there's a lot of analysts, a lot of people doing like analyze all the data things, and then if they do the same thing on crypto industry, probably they cannot do that like as frequent.
Right.
So we think that we won't be able to save their times, and that's what we think. There's a lot of assumption there. We don't know whether it's gonna work like beautifully as we think or not. But that's what we're gonna do.
Data's a messy business sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Well, just the sort of the range of clients that you'd be looking to bring on, and the types of organizations that need this type of data already. They're all right here in the capital in the UAE, right? These types of fund managers, TradFi institutions, the $1 trillion asset managers are all here. We were at Abu Dhabi Finance Week earlier in the week, and we saw multiple $1 trillion asset managers and family funds and all that kind of stuff. So were you there also at that conference? Were you at some of the other conferences that have been happening this week? I know we had Binance Blockchain Week, Bitcoin Mena, a bunch of these crypto conferences, but also the TradFi side of reality was also here on the ground.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there. I'm only come here for Breakpoint because partially because we are still like building. But I think like gradually we will have more people that going to those conferences on the TradFi things, and then going to more conferences around the world. Especially when we release our public version. Because currently we are still in the building phase. We are doing the closed beta version. And probably in the next 1 or 2 quarters, we will focusing on giving limited access to some people, to some potential clients, and then we're gonna revise and then perfect our tool before we have the complete public release.
Well, I wish I was a soul whale and I could volunteer myself to test your product. Unfortunately, I think
we're a bit too crypto.
I don't quite fit the bill yet. Maybe in a few cycles.
No worries. I mean, like that's our next product. But still, we still have a major investment of time and effort into our current product as well. Our current website and.
But that's not going anywhere.
It's still there, and it's gonna get much better because you see in this conference there are so many things coming up. Prop AMM, you have the prediction market, you have the perps. So we are looking at all of those, and we're gonna just selectively put those into our platform as well.
Awesome.
It really solidifies that thesis that we've been hearing a lot, that Solana is for everyone now. So whether you're a meme coin trader or a perps trader, or no matter what you're doing in DeFi, institution players can also come into play. And Birdeye sounds like it's going to be a hub for getting all the information, regardless of what you're interested in.
Yeah. That's the goal. And we honestly thinking that like the different group of audience gonna need different products, like data products. So if you go into Birdeye.so, you're gonna see a different vibe. It is very lively. Like we track every small things, like all the tokens is there. Then if you go to our next products, you're gonna see that it is much more clean. We actually have to manually clean some data sets. Because that's what the professional and institutional users expect. So those will be like different approaches. And so we have to put different teams, different people to working on those.
Is it on-chain data or off-chain data specifically that needs to be cleaned and parsed and presented in a sort of human readable way?
Yeah, mostly on-chain data.
Mostly on-chain data, yeah.
because it's permissionless, right? So there's a lot of people that putting up whatever they want to do. A lot of them test on production. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to cut through the noise, offer only the signal.
Yeah.
I don't envy you. It sounds like like a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me are gonna have to work very, very fast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What's the timeline you're looking at then? By the time it's let's say November next year, I think mid-November is gonna be Breakpoint 2026 in London. By the time we get to London, are we gonna be able to sort of test this, have some product demos?
I really hope so. I mean, our current timeline is that we're gonna have the closed beta being released in the first quarter of 2026, and then we're gonna have I think probably 3-4 months before we release it to the public. So it's like anybody who wants and who's willing to pay for it gonna be able to access. And then I believe that it is an ongoing thing because it's so huge. We have to keep building for several years, I think. But then by Breakpoint next year in London, then I think we're already there.
So how exciting is the prospect of this $1 trillion institutional bid that's meant to be coming in? We've been speaking with these asset managers all day for the past 3 days. We've had Franklin Templeton, State Street, who wasn't in here, but Galaxy Digital is tokenizing I think a $500 million fund.
Yeah.
What does that indicate to you as far as where Solana DeFi is going to be heading next?
Well, I think there will be a lot of change. I mean, because of the whole ecosystem is quite huge, and there are so many people, and even start to categorize itself. Like there will be people really like the crypto space for the aspect of it's being free. There's people are really fun. We can throw very wide parties and things, and it will be still there. It will not go anywhere. But then there will be the category where people want to be because it is so advanced technology and everything, and it can actually make the traditional finance much better. Then those people are going to focus on different type of products and community, and I really hope that Solana is going to be able to host everybody, and then that's my.
Well, it certainly looks like, at least from our vantage point here at Breakpoint, that the degens, the Solana DeFi OGs, the asset managers, the DACOs, the giant $1 trillion asset managers are all indeed in the same place, being hosted by the Solana ecosystem.
And they merge very well.
And for some people, and I think there is still a bit of a discussion. So you guys obviously started serving retail, serving them very, very well, understanding their needs, going where they are, and providing the right types of data and an amazing product to them. But you're also clearly very aware of the fact that Solana is moving in this direction. It's becoming more mature as an ecosystem. The industry is maturing as an ecosystem. That is undeniable. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sat here with $1.6 trillion asset managers, Franklin Templeton. To what extent do you think, and from your conversations with other founders and builders in the Solana ecosystem, to what extent do people feel that this is net positive? Or are there people that think a little bit like we've lost touch with our original retail focus? Do you speak to anyone that's very strongly opinionated about whether or not this is good or bad or something down the middle? Do you have any insights on that?
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of leaders and founders during Breakpoint this year, and then the general opinions is that everyone recognize that they're the wave of traditional financials going in, or the giant guys with billions of dollars is here, and they will pouring in money, they will build products, they will be but the general opinion is that it is good. I mean, because as long as you got the recognition from those guys, then you got the recognitions of the society as a whole. Because now you're serious. One of the smart guys in the world is taking it seriously.
Big money is here.
But then because me as an OG, because I like crypto because of all the fun factors. It's free. You can do whatever we want, and we can innovate it at very, very high speed. So most of the OG leaders, they still want to do that one. But then there are some of them because it's become a little bit more competitive now in the ecosystem. So a lot of things have to be structured in a more professional way. They have to, because when you grow the team to the size of, I don't know, 30, 40, 90, 100 of people, then you will need to have a structure, like a proper structure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen so many examples of teams growing really, really fast in previous cycles, whether it's the 17-18 era or the 2021 era,
Exactly.
scaling to hundreds, you know, easily between 100 and 200 employees, and then shit hits the fan. You know, all of a sudden you wake up, there's a reality check, and unfortunately these teams had to downsize, giving up 60-70% of their teams, and it's not a great look for the workforce in the industry, obviously. So I hear what you're saying about growing in an intelligent, mature, and measured way.
Exactly. I mean, when we're dealing with that kind of things, then we're gonna start to appreciate all the things coming from the traditional world, because they already perfect that kind of technique and management things, and then that's something that I think a lot of people agree that, okay, we actually have to learn from them.
As long as we don't have to wear suits every day, I think most of the people
like t-shirts.
as long as we can wear t-shirts.
Carl, I know you have places to be, and you can't sit with us all day as much as we would love for you to.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to give us a nice kind of closing view, your bird's eye view, to reuse Jack's joke? All year we were waiting for this glorious golden Q4 bull run, and it hasn't arrived. Are you still optimistic moving into 2026? What's your lens on the market saying?
Well, yes, because I believe that talking about the prices is not my strength. But then anyway, as long as when we see that a lot of people coming in, because not only like the price is gonna reflect only a part of the ecosystem as a whole, but when we take a look at other metrics, how many people are going in, how many capital, like real capital, is pouring in this ecosystem, then I think that I am more positive than negative about the price action. Well, it is Bitcoin is like 90,000 now, right?
Yeah, I haven't checked it.
I haven't checked.
Exactly. Like there's a lot of people don't even care about the price action anymore. Well, if you are the traders, probably you want to think about that one. But if you take a look at the price to say that, okay, the ecosystem or crypto industry is going down or what, then that's irrelevant in my opinion.
Unless you're on crypto Twitter, and then it is everything. But
Awesome. Yeah, Carl, thank you so much for joining us. It's been
Thank you
brilliant
very
having
much.
you on.
really appreciate it. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you
enjoy
very
the
much.
rest of your time here in Abu Dhabi at Breakpoint, and hopefully we catch up before Breakpoint 2026 in London.
Absolutely,
Would love to
absolutely.
chat with you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.